said earlier on that EAs are not just task managers, they can be more, they can be strategic partners, they can be leaders in the industry. So she is coming to talk more on that. And she's a chief customer officer at InterSwitch currently, where she leads customer success and operational excellence across markets in Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Germany. She works closely with executive leaders to champion transformational change, fostering a culture where customer experience and employee engagement thrive together. Her expertise in Lean Six Sigma and process automation has delivered significant operational efficiencies and cost savings. But what truly drives her is a passion for scaling fintech solutions across emerging markets and unlocking value for customers and stakeholders alike. She has over 2 decades in leadership in fintech and electronic payments. So please, ladies and gentlemen, we have an exceptional keynote speaker, and her name is Oremeyi Akah. She's our first keynote speaker. Please give a round of applause. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Congratulations, ID. ID is a friend and a colleague, former colleague. She left us for bigger things. Well done. And this is the list you will Alright, so we'll start with the teaching. So just watch, it's going to be interesting. And but don't let that distract you. I'd like to say, I would love if you can make notes about what the phrases or the statements you hear. It's a trailer, so you know the statements jumping out at you. So just see if you can pick the winning statement I'm looking for. There were many, but let's see if you pick the winning one. Alright, thank you. I'll stand aside.
I'm so those customs. Our actions echo across the centuries. The strangest young age, on earth we're gone, uncool we were. How bravely we fought. How fierce we not. If you come, you don't understand. I know what it is. I can take promises. What the hell for your country? You got till I die for this woman? I want you back. I will got to my employment away from the ground. Find mine. And you go to war with the brother. Or yeah. The Trojans have never been conquered. Some say they can't be conquered. Protectors, he's good warriors, they say. Best of all the Trojans. This will be the greatest war the world has ever seen. We need the greatest warrior. Of all the warlords of our brother gods, I hate him the most.
Are the stories of any truth? You say you can't be killed.
Hector commands the finest army in the world. When I tell you the greatest force the world has ever seen, I'm sending the largest fleet in Israel. 1,000 ships.
You're just bringing the horse. Heaven's made.
Fight for his country. He fights only for himself.
I don't care about the natural weakness. I care about his ability to bring back.
This war will never be forgotten. Nor will the heroes who fought in it. What's wrong? You control. But you need to control completion. And every son of Troy shall die. This will be the next. Is there no one else? Is there no one else?
Alright, if I say, how many of us have seen that movie? Okay. If you have not seen, there are not many good movies in this world. It's a good movie. It's not a movie. It's not Indian film. There are movies that you watch and you can enjoy it. If you did literature in school and read Men and Gods, sure you have come across it. Now, I'm sure you can already guess my age. I'm talking men and boys. I'm sure that book has been scraped out of the literature syllabus for decades. In the 13th century, two sets of brothers, one were a set of kings and the other were a set of princes, and they both wanted one thing, a woman called Helen. Although she was originally Greek, she ended up being in the history books, she's called Helen of Troy, because the prince of Troy fell in love with her and stole her from her husband in the night, and she stayed with him. The Trojan War was the war between Greece and the Troys. And if you've ever heard of a Trojan horse in IT, you need to talk of virus, that's where it came from. That was the concept. So we have seen a horse, a wooden horse. Yes. Now, this is not about horses or warships or the handsome Brad Pitt. No. This is about a statement. Hector fights for his country. Achilles fights only for himself. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the Achilles heel of a person. That's where it comes from. Achilles was not a god, but he was a revered warrior. He was said to be invincible, but of course, eventually, if you read history, he died. And he was killed by his heel. And that's why the Achilles heel of a person is their weakest point. The idiom, that's what it means. But let's go back to the statement. Hector. Now again, I don't know how clear the sound was. Forgive us, it was YouTube video. But you may have heard or may not have heard it, but Hector fights for his country. Achilles fights only for himself. We're talking about an executive assistant as an enabler. So I'll ask a few questions today. And my first question is, who do you fight for? What do you fight for? The human being by nature, we are born selfish. If you've ever had a child, or you've seen a newborn baby come out of his womb, or the mother's womb, he's not thinking, oh, my mom has been in labor for 20 hours. My mom just pushed, or maybe she even went through CS. He's screaming at the top of his baby lungs. And the only thing that will silence that cry is breast milk. He's not thinking, oh my gosh, my mom has been through a lot. You know what, let me just be quiet and give her some time to breathe. No, because by default, we are born to think of ourselves. But of course, we are wiser than to stay within our natural defaults. We grow out of it, or at least we should. Who do you fight for? Is the question I believe will anchor your career, your excellence as an executive assistant. Because an executive assistant is someone that is not putting forward her own or his own purpose or vision. You are actually fueling and driving the vision of another human being. And while that may sound, demeaning, oh my gosh, why should I be fueling the vision of another human being? I stand here to say that we are born to give ourselves to visions that are bigger than us. That is the number one purpose of a man. You are born to latch on to a vision that is bigger than you. It may come from you, and that's interesting, but usually you find it in service. So why an executive assistant role? You may be thinking, what's in it for me? The truth is, that's not the right question. The question is, what vision am I driving forward? I've had the chance of having 4 executive assistants in my short 47 years. 3 amazing, 1 that didn't go well. And the day I fired her, I felt a sense of joy and relief. And I'm not going to run her down, I'm not going to mention her name, but it's the attitude we're talking about. My first executive assistant was amazing. I had the vision, when I turned, I'm very passionate about Africa. When I turned 30, I had a vision of, a lot of people don't love Nigeria. I love Nigeria, and I mean it from my heart. A lot of children are trained, we don't even train, a lot of children cannot sing national anthem, things like that. It hurts me. So I said, okay, Nigeria has the highest concentration of languages. What if we had a fashion parade or an event? I'm born on Children's Day, by the way, I'm May 27th. So I said, what if we have an event that showcases different tribes of Nigeria, makes it fun, different languages, different food, different culture? So just an idea. When my 40th birthday was approaching in 2019, the year before COVID, I realized that I really wanted to do it, but I didn't have time. I had tried to put it together in 2017, I didn't have time, I had to give up. I got a PA with Oremeyi in 2018, and I told Oremeyi once, and this was in my heart. On May 26th, because May 27th was a Monday, on May 26th, 2019, we held what at that time was the largest ever cultural celebration of Nigerian cultures. We had children, we have over 700 children showcasing all different, we couldn't showcase all the tribes because Nigerian tribes have so many, but we showcased so many. It was lovely. We had Tini Dakolo singing, I believe in Nigeria. We didn't pay him because we didn't have money, but he came for free. When I tell people that my only role in that program was to sit in front, look pretty, transfer money to Oremeyi did everything. She got Chrisland to come. Chrisland School sent their children. She got Chicken Republic to give us a discount on the fund. She got the hall set up. She got the right negotiation with the event planners. So Oremeyi today has to travel out. She's with her husband in the United States. I should have put her picture up. And I'm hoping when she will listen to this. I don't know if she knows how much impact she made in my life. She took a vision. It was just random thoughts, almost like fantasy. And she made them a reality. That was my 40th birthday, and so I'm not big on doing birthday for myself. I do birthdays for people like my husband, my children, but for me, I just feel I'd rather do something different. So that was my birthday celebration event. People didn't even know it was my birthday. When you give yourself to a vision bigger than you are not decreasing you. Because you must have a rub off of that. That greatness will rub off on you. So the first thing the last time, as I wrap up this first point, I will ask you again, who do you fight for? What do you fight for? That's very important. Someone talked of trust today, and I'd like to say this. Trust is the armor that a leader has that allows him to fight without looking over his shoulder. Are you an armor or are you a pain point? An executive assistant is an armor of trust. My second EA, Jennifer Awada, she had my signature. She had the signatures to all my accounts. My account in the UK, she had my signature. She would say, Oremeyi, you need to make this payment. I'll say, go ahead. Oremeyi, I'm transferring, go ahead. She didn't have access to the apps, but if I needed to write it, because the apps were on my phone, I couldn't register to numbers. If I needed to write a letter, give an instruction, and that was allowed. I would travel out, and my husband was in the country, my house key. Normally when I'm doing that, I'll leave with my sister. I'll leave it at that. She had the key to my house. My children do not, I've always done school run. My children are now big, thank God. I've finished school run age, praise God. Yeah. Yes. Thank God. But I never did school run, driver, never. My husband will never. If I'm not in the car, then you pay for school bus. No matter how you pay, when you get in the car yourself. I don't have time to do school run, so I pay for school bus. It was only at that time that there was a period that the school bus couldn't run for certain reasons. And My husband will say, how is Kosi coming home? And that is speaking more, and I can't relax. She was the only person. Trust is currency because it gives you access to things that money cannot buy. An executive assistant should be a trust shield. How do you build trust? We had a fantastic panel earlier. I did speaking to 2 experts. And the lady said, trust is gotten by delivery, and it's true. In a world today where everybody's so trying to make it, everybody's focused on themselves, rushing, I would say that trust is gotten by being proactive, thinking ahead. She mentioned, one of the panelists said, do you know it is work to give somebody work? When she said, I said, tell them. All I needed to do for my son's 10th birthday, or the fact that I'm in the UK and it was Uche, which is my second son, he's almost 18 and 17. It was he could not come home for holiday because he was writing my exam and school won't release them. I was abroad and it was visiting day. Jennifer said, it is visiting day, you are not around. I will be seeing Uche on Saturday. I will go with the driver, or if driver is not around, I'll go with myself forever. Uche likes, she knows what he likes. He likes this, he likes that. Is there anything else we should add? This is the estimate, peace transfer. That's it. On Saturday, I'm in the UK doing my own thing. I get a call, and that's phone on video. I talk to Uche. Uche, sorry, I don't call Miss Anaki. It's okay, mommy, don't worry. Fine. It's done. Trust. Trust. Trust is so critical. If a man can trust you, when I say man, a human being, if a man, a woman, or whoever can trust you, you cannot overestimate the rooms that you will get into, that you will never have gotten into by yourself. So I'll ask you, are you a trust shield? Or do you give your principal fear? Because of EAs can be afraid. And I'll talk of my not too good experience in my next example. Every time you fight for the vision of another, you are not diminishing yourself. You are actually enlarging your legacy. So I'll say, what legacy are you building? And another question I'll ask, how do you deal with invisibility? Because you may not always have a stage to stand on. That may not be your calling. You may not always have a podium from which to speak. But by being an effective executive assistant, you are allowing the person on stage shine. And I bet you, your own shining is happening. You may just not know it at that time. So let's talk about the fact that an EA is a strategic partner. Not just a support role. A support role is tell me, I will do it. Tell me, I will get it done. What if I don't have the time to tell you? Can you proactively filter what needs to be done? I'm the chief customer officer of Interswitch. I have 3 sons. I cook for my husband. My husband does not, we've been married for 20 years. My husband doesn't eat out. I cook for my husband. I cook well. And then I'm a pastor's wife. I'm a pastor's wife in Redeem. I'm an area pastor's wife, so it means I have parishes under me. Not quite a lot. I run an NGO. I finished my master's in Cambridge and I'm starting my PhD very soon. I do a lot. And I'm very close to my parents. So I went my mom traveled for my Mrs. graduation in June. My dad was 82, he was in Benin alone. He said, I'm fine. I went to spend a week with him. Mommy had cooked, just making sure his meals are at least. Daddy said, I just defrost from the microwave, I'm good. He said, Dad, you know where I'll stay with you for 1 week. Although he said, Oremeyi, you spend more of your time on your Zoom calls than with me, but it's okay, at least you're in the house. So busy. And I give my husband super attention, doesn't matter, it's not to me. So in the midst of all this, the last thing I want you to ask me 78 questions. Okay, so this is very, very not cool. When we just built our permanent site, I thank you for coming for your dedication. And when people came from internet, they were like, yeah, pastors were shocked. But what I'm saying is, so I have a vision for my teenage church. I want teenage church to be like this, like that. You know, and I have certain materials that as I give to my PA, I said, please create, make it learning journals. Every month, we take a theme. And I did a theme for 12 months. February is love. So find topics on love and we'll talk about. March is this. Well, then you create it and you send it to my WhatsApp. And then we come February 1st, we are going to church, and I'm like, teenage church, where's the manual? And I call you, where is it? Oh, it's in your WhatsApp. Cool. So from WhatsApp, it will just jump inside the hand of the teenagers. I'm trying to be calm. I asked her, I said, so from my WhatsApp now to just telepath itself onto their hand. And lo, we'll have a great service. Was that the deliverable to send it to my WhatsApp? Because you didn't reply, I thought you were busy. Thank you. I was busy. Sorry for inconveniences caused. At last, teenage church, no manual. For February, finally, February 15th, after, how many copies should I print? Should I print 10? Should I print? You have the number of the teenage church leader. You just ask how many people in teenage church who we have printed for last month, by the way, then you will have known. Long and short, there was no manual. We entered March, no manual. Wow. And I'm there thinking, okay, what they were just like giving feedback, and I said, why am I in this bondage? And my spirit just said, Akah. And I just sat down. I felt that day as if I've come out of prison. May you not be a source of pain to your principal. You must move yourself from being a support role only to being that strategic lead, strategic partner that will say, we want this to happen. So we will do it in this manner because this is the best way it needs to be done. This year I launched my first book. I have 2 copies on my seat. I came for my book launch. It is amazing. I brought 2 copies, please. I don't know, feel free to give them out. It's my 20-year career story. For each chapter, I had to contact the person I had worked with in that time. So for example, chapter 2, the person that contributed to chapter 2 is currently one of the executive directors of First Bank. So he's a super busy guy. At the time, he was just the project manager. That was like 20 years ago when we started Interstretch. So I had a list of people. I had somebody in my MBA class that lives in, he lives in Hong Kong that was going to contribute. I had my MasterCard boss that lives in London. I had people from all over. Ada sat down, put the list together. From my phone, she had to force me to sit down. I had to give her their phone numbers, the email addresses that I had, I gave it to her. The long and short is that vision of that book came alive. Because Ada took the pain to not just be somebody supporting me to make the book happen. It became our book. It became a book. She was over. You've not called your ghostwriters, you need to do that. You've not edited chapter 7, you need to do that. You didn't like chapter 10, please can you get it done tomorrow? Okay, what do you need for me to do to help you get it done tomorrow? And she will follow up in a subtle, but in a persistent way. And we launched the book in May this year, on my first birthday. I lost 2 free copies, I don't know what she'll do with them. Now I'll introduce my current PA. She meant to be in this room. Kemi, are you here? Kemi's nice. I knew she had other things she was going to do today, but she said she'd try. Kemi, after my not good experience, I was a bit jittery, but Kemi came into my life, and I want to thank God for Kemi. Kemi was not there when we were writing the book. She will have been here now, see if she missed that job. Kemi was not here when we were writing the book, but she came in when it was about to launch. So the event planning, everything, making the event happen. It happened May 25th in the 4 Point here. It was a beautiful event, as I said to myself. And it was well executed. Of course, because when the book launch, I was quite involved, I had to make time, but I couldn't take so much time off work. I could only take like 4 days before the event, and then I took a week after. I just needed to reflect. But it was a successful event. The videos, the interviews, the people we needed to speak, the panelists, everything was so well executed. Ken made it happen. That is when you say executive assistants gone global. Like, she was speaking to people across, making things fall into place. So the question I will ask you is, how are you enlarging your legacy by connecting to projects, not just as a support pillar, but as a strategic partner? Very critical. I don't know if I should say the final point, but a major point I'd like to say is, as an executive assistant, you are not just managing calendars. You are curating destiny by eliminating noise. I think one of the speakers today, Esther, is going to be here. Esther is, I'm sure she will say, she's executive assistant to one of the leading leaders, managing directors in the fintech space. And I remember her promotion story. So she was up for promotion to manager. And there were other people, engineers that built solid software. You can see the software. They can say, I deserve to be promoted, see what I built. I deserve to be promoted. Esther entered the room and was silent. So I was on the panel. And she said, because of me, the company runs effectively. Because of me, the company achieved the target of XX billion dollars, or whatever. Because of me, and then almost like, how dare you? What do you do? We are just a secretary. And then she laughed and she started. I am not just an executive assistant, I'm a life designer. I design his life for effectiveness. I ensure he needs to be where he needs to be. That is an executive assistant. I ensure that the meetings he does not need to make, he doesn't even know about them. I ensure the meetings he cannot go, he sends an apology or he sends a representative. He may not even know he has sent a representative, but he has. I ensure that his wife's birthday is exactly the way she wants it. I ensure his children, and she went on and on. Long and short, I'm sure you can imagine, of course she got her promotion. But not only that, she stepped out of that room, and by rating, she made the best impression and convinced, on the promotion panel. What was she preaching, or what was she narrating? The greatest honor is not always in the visible roles. I asked, how do you deal with invisibility? How do you deal when people cannot see you, but they can hear you? We are designed to be like the wind. You cannot see the wind, but you can feel its effect. You cannot see where it's going, where it's coming. That's what the greatest teacher said. But you know that the wind is here. That is an executive assistant. You are like the wind. They may not see you. They may not know your face. But your impact cannot be underestimated. It's glaring to all that you are there. And that the glory of being the wind is that you are unlimited. You can actually fly and go to places that people are limited from going. Why? Because you are building skills and networks that will speak for you in that present moment and, of course, into the future. So you are a guardian of energy and of time. And energy and time, or let me even say time,
is something everybody has equal amounts of in the world. But if you ask the richest men in the world, what is their greatest asset? They will tell you it's time. If you can preserve and protect time of your principal, you will be an indispensable. Kemi comes in after we have clapped for her. If you can be a guardian of time for your principal, you will be an executive assistant that is indispensable, celebrated, and of course, promoted. And when I say promoted, we all know that promotion is not restricted to your current pathway. The promotion will not even come from your principal, but my dear, it will definitely come. So I'll wrap up by going back to the story, and maybe we'll take a few questions. Achilles' story ended in his own death. Funny enough, Hector's story also kind of went somehow. Let me not spoil the movie too much. But today, in the annals of time, it is written that one man fought for his country. He fought for his people. He fought for visions bigger than himself. He fought for others. He fought for purpose. He fought for vision. Another fought for his ego, for his pride, and for his desire to win personally. And now the way, what you choose to fight for is your choice, because either way, they're quite cool. But I'll tell you that it is always greater to connect yourself to a vision bigger than yours and to fight for a greater vision. Thank you very much.